Yo, what's going on? What's happening? I'm gonna show y'all something that not too many people use these days. You know what I'm saying? I haven't used them in a while as well, and I definitely need to actually get back into using them, you know what I'm saying? But if we use these, you know, then there wouldn't be any more, you know, like violence. You know, people would definitely, you know, stay in their place, and they'll know who to F with and who not to F with. And it's these right here. Boxing gloves. Real talk. Now, I'm not no, you know what I'm saying, professional when it comes to these. Real talk. You know what I'm saying? I haven't boxed in well, I'll say this. I've done some training, you know, as of recent, but prior to that, I haven't boxed in years. You know what I'm saying? But this is what we need. More of those gloves than this right here. Real talk. You know what I'm saying? And I know, you know, y'all gonna be like, yo, man, this dude is always going on this spill, and then he be on his old school, old head 90s stuff about how this, that, and blah, 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 and blah, 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 blah. Yeah. You can say what you want to say. But this is literally a matter of life and death. That's real talk. Due to the current state of hip-hop, and just overall, the black community, we need to just pause real quick and collect ourselves, because we are on a verge of destruction, self-destruction, that is. And this is just getting out of hand, man. It really is. Whatever agenda that the so-called powers had for us, I'm gonna be real. It's not that agenda's not working. You know, like the agenda that we have for one another, and that's taking one another out. And let's just say, if that is the agenda for the powers that be, for black people to take one another out, it's working. It's working. Let me tell you something. Yes, true indeed. We did have shootouts and all the rest of that stuff when I was growing up. But we did have, just like we had shootouts, we had a lot of this. A lot of fist fights without the gloves. And I went home with quite a few black eyes. But you know what? The black eyes that I caught, I live to see another day. Just imagine if the fights that I got into, the guys that I got into a fight with, brought guns to a fight. I wouldn't be here talking to you all right now. And that's real talk. And let's just say, straight up, the guy that pistol with me, let's just say before he hit me, you know, started to hit me with the gun, he had the gun pointed at my face. Let's just say, if he pulled the trigger, I wouldn't be talking to you all right now. So yeah, man, I mean, I'm not about taking our guns away. That's a fact. I ain't about that, you know what I'm saying? I love my guns. That's a fact, you know what I'm saying? But I'm just saying, like, what we need to do is we need to just take things back to the old school, the old way of life. You know what I'm saying? And real talk, it ain't nothing like a good ass whooping. That'll set the record straight, for real. Like, I'm dead ass serious. Like, a typical person if they get their ass whipped, that'll put them right in line. Straight up. Like, no lie. When an adult gets his ass whipped, it's equivalent to a young child literally getting their ass whipped with a belt. And typically, after you whip a child's ass, they know how to act after that. And see, that's the thing. That's the problem with these kids, you know what I'm saying? Nowadays. That I see, they just need a good old ass whooping. That's just about it. And what I mean by kids these days, I'm talking about, you know, the youth, you know, your young adults. The ones that's going around talking about, I got the blickies and the sticks. You know what I'm saying? Literally wreaking havoc, you know what I'm saying, in society, in our communities, in the black communities, which is crazy to me. We have enough problems that we have to deal with. And now we have this problem where you got young adults that's going around randomly shooting their so-called ops that really look like them. This is crazy to me. How can you have an enemy that looks just like you? Most of the time I said, your enemy looks nothing like you. Your enemy is from like another country, another, you know, they're from the other side of the planet. And they're coming over to your territory trying to take the territory over. And what you're doing is you're defending your territory. Nah. That's not how things go in a gang culture. So yeah, man, this is crazy to me. If we continue to do the things that we do, I'll say this. If we continue to behave the way that we behave, man, shit. In a couple of years, black race won't be here. It will cease to exist. I don't know what to say, man. You know what I'm saying? Like, I try my best to defend my race. I try my best to blame it on, you know, our mental health and Stockholm syndrome and, you know, racism and slavery and redlining, and the list goes on. But it gets to the point where black people are doing so much negative shit towards one another. It's to the point where you just run out of excuses, and I'm just being real with you. I'm just being real with you. Like, when does it get to the point where when we are gonna hold ourselves accountable for our actions? I truly understand and know that black people have it way more harder than everyone else. But just hear me out. I'm a simple man. And I'm gonna make this like as simple to understand. Hear me out. If we have it as bad as we say we do, then why is it that we don't act that way? In other words, let's just say, let's look at it like this. Okay, let's tackle education, right? So our education and, you know, our public schools inside of our communities are fucked up, right? Our kids are reading, you know, on an 8th grade, reading on a 3rd grade level, right? If that's the case, and we know that the government is not going to come in and change that, why haven't we said to ourselves, okay, when we take our children to the public schools, they don't get a proper education, and 2, they're mishandled, they're mistreated. So if my son wiggles his butt in the goddamn chair during school, you already administrating him with all types of fucking drugs and shit. already diagnosing him with ADD, ADHD, autism, and all the rest of that shit. So if we know all of this stuff, guess what? Why haven't we pulled our children out of the schools? And I could go further. If we know that America spelled with three K's is racist, and we're never going to be treated equally or fairly, why are we still here? You understand that? I'm starting to believe that, first and foremost, we already know that there's a separation in the black race. You have on one side the black race, and then in the black race, you have on one side civilized black people, and then you have on the other side niggas. So I'm starting to believe, like, the niggas, they're still chattel property. Their social security, you know what I'm saying, number is their manufactured number, serial number, etc. PLU code, etc. They're property of America. America created these genetically modified niggas. And what happened is, I'll go as far. You know what? Since this story is sounding crazy, it's gonna sound even crazier. Cause this is what I think. And I'm not saying that I necessarily, you know what I'm saying, like, am 100% right. But I think I'm somewhat close to being right. But what I think is, during slavery, the slave master bred the nigga out of us. He separated the two. And I'm not saying he did us a favor. That's not what I'm saying. Oh, I'm saying that the slave master is worse than the nigga. But you got to understand that the slave master created him. Matter of fact, I take it back. I'm not going to say he bred it out of us, because that's to say that we had it in us before he bred it out of us. He planted the seed in us and watered the seed by forcing us to work in those cotton fields from sun up to sundown, by making it against the law, unlawful, illegal for black people to write and read and write. You birth a real nigga out of slavery. But at the end of the day, regardless of my opinion, how I feel, whether it's right or wrong, black folks, and your mama, at the end of the day, seriously, because we all have mothers, and those are the only ones that tend to stay behind. And oftentimes we as black men shit on them, which is crazy to me. They're the ones that stay behind to raise our asses. Your mama taught you better than that. And what I mean by this saying, because you know the saying, didn't your mama teach you better than that? She taught you how to act in public. And being that you don't know how to act in public, instead of the gun, only thing you need is a nice, good old adult ass whooping. That plain and simple. And Don't go there. You know what I'm saying? Don't be on some, well, yo, you gonna give it to me and da-da-da-da-da and this, that. Stop it with the tough talk. What I'm trying to do is save lives. And that's real talk. Because you can walk away from a black eye. But in most cases, you can't walk away from a goddamn bullet. And it's just that plain and simple. That's our reality. You know what I'm saying? These kids these days, and these grown-ass adults that's acting like kids these days, all they need is just a good old ass whooping.